big game coming up, folks. The Titans taking on the Broncos this Sunday on the Gold Coast. Now, Brian, well, not Brian, I'm talking with the Scopey here. We are very excited to have a big guest coming up. Very, very excited to have a big guest coming up, Kieran Foran, who, well, here we go. Kieran Foran announces his retirement, 2025, to be his last season for the Premiership winner. He's announced his retirement following a 17-year NRL career. He will hang up the boots at the end of 2025 season with the Gold Coast Titans, bring an end to a rollercoaster ride that started in 2009 with Manly. What an absolute Herculean career it has been. The 5'8", he'll celebrate his 35th birthday on Sunday. He'll make his 310th NRL appearance for the Titans against the Broncos at Cbus Super Stadium. And I'm pleased to say that that man with that decorated career, Kieran Foran, once again joins the run home with Joel and Fletch with the Scope here. G'day, Foz.
Oh, g'day, boys.
Relief, Foz?
Yeah, relief, mate. Yeah, I'll tell you, I was an anxious mess all week. I sort of spent the bye weekend coming to the decision with family, and I just felt that it's probably the right time to sort of announce it, and then focus on what's next, and it also gives the club some time to prepare for the future.
Yeah, first of all, Fozzie, Scopey here, mate, or better known as probably Hozzie during our time.
Fozzie and Hozzie.
Fozzie and Hozzie. I just want to congratulate you on your career, mate. It was an absolute pleasure to play with you during my time at Manly. I've said it a number of times, you're one of my favourite all-time teammates, and lucky enough to be doing some content with you this year. We had chats at the start of the year that this was a possibility. When did it proper sink in, and what were those conversations like with the family around, all right, yep, we're gonna do this. This will be my last year after debuting in 2009.
Yeah, no, thanks, Hoz. Look, I think obviously I had a pretty big ankle surgery at the end of last season. It's pretty much an ankle reconstruction, and that took me about sort of 4.5 months to rehab, and then came back, played about 40 minutes of a trial game, and then ruptured my bicep. So I was out for another 11 weeks, and so I had a pretty tough start there, and then I thought to myself, I'll just get back from the bicep tendon and see how I feel, first and foremost, and just see how the body physically is holding up, and sort of try and make a decision after about 6 or 7 weeks once I got back. But yeah, I think having the bye allowed me some time to reassess that and just sort of see where I was at, and I just felt that it would be right to finish up at the end of this year. I just think it would be a stretch too far to try and continue on beyond this year, going into another pre-season and then trying to play out another full year of footy. It's always hard when rugby league's been, what you've done your whole life, but at some point you got to, I guess, weigh up where you're at, both physically and mentally, and I just feel like, that time's come.
Chatting with Kieran Foran, who he will be anointed at some stage into the Rugby League Hall of Fame. This is a career where 31 appearances for New Zealand. Now, Kieran Foran, most Sundays and Saturdays, and the game's only getting bigger with the NRLW. So many fields are populated by young kids who would just love one day to play a Jersey Fleet game maybe, or a Harold Matthews game, or an Andrew John Shield game, or, but you have had the audacity, the temerity, and the gall to play 309 NRL first grade games. So I think there's something like 10,000 players or thereabouts who have played at least one NRL game. There's only about 60 who have played 300 plus. Kieran Foran, you're one of those 60 since 1908 who have achieved that. What does that sound like to you when you look back in perspective?
Oh, I just feel extremely grateful to have been able to have the length of career that I've had. As you touched on, I remember being a young boy, born in New Zealand, obsessed with rugby league, in my early years, and dreaming just to play one game. I would have cut off my left arm just to play one game of NRL, and that was my obsession. That was my dream, right through my teens, and I got there and to think I've been able to live it out for as long as I've been able to do it. I just feel blessed. Yeah, it probably hasn't quite sunk in yet. As I said, I've finally made the decision that this will be it at the end of the season. But yeah, I just feel the game has, and I touched on it today. The game has been incredible to me, and I wouldn't be the person I am without rugby league. And I just think the lessons I've learned along the way, the highs and the lows that I've endured and had to face, it's just set me up really well for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been an incredible journey.
Yeah, Foz, knowing you well, I'm lucky enough to spend a couple of years with you. I think you're not going to be lost to footy. Sugar was asking me just before you come on, what do you think Foz will do after? I know you've got one of the best footy IQs that players that I've played with. You're doing a great job in doing media stuff, whether it's jumping on at SEN and doing some stuff with Sats and Rat up there, and then also doing the Fox League stuff. And I know you care deeply about the mental health space as well.
Yeah.
Are you going to look at doing a combination of those things, mate? Have you even thought about what that looks like after footy, or you just wanted to make this decision first and then you'll reassess that all in the off season?
No, you've hit the nail on the head, Hoz. I think for me, I've already started to think about what life might look beyond my playing days, and obviously being out injured, I've been able to get a really good taste and some experience in the media, and I've thoroughly enjoyed that. It's been awesome, just getting on there and talking footy, and as you touched on, I absolutely love the game. So that's been really cool to get some experience in that space. So I've got ambitions to coach for sure. I want to certainly help shape and mould the next generation of young guys coming through, and do whatever I can to pass on my sort of footy knowledge and experiences onto them to help them in their next phase. And then the mental health stuff is something I'm extremely passionate about. I've been really open over the course of the last couple of years on sort of touching on my own life's challenges and battles that I've faced personally, and just the work that I can do in that space to try and help young guys in particular, not feel alone and not feel vulnerable in that space, and feel okay. So I think between those three sort of areas is somewhere that I'll look to really focus on once I hang the boots up.
This text comes through. There's lots of texts who are, waxing lyrically about your great self, Kieran Foran, and deservedly so. What a career, what a guy you are. Rob writes, if resilience was the currency, Foz would be the Bill Gates. What a career, with another dozen courageous performances still to come. Congratulations, says Rob. And mate, when people say that to you, and there's so many nice texts coming towards you, Kieran Foran, how does that make you feel?
Oh yeah, humbled, Joel. To be honest, it's something you pride yourself on, right? You want to be known as a guy that your teammates absolutely love taking the field with, and I think I've done that over the course of my career. I've tried to be that guy, and along with that has come challenges with injuries and setbacks, and still being prepared to take the field even when I've been banged up and busted, and just keep getting up every time you're sort of, I guess, written off and knocked down. And I said it today, I've always had an internal belief that I wanted to get every ounce out of myself as I possibly could. We're in this battle of life to actually be the best version of ourselves that we can be. That's the person we're competing with, and I feel pretty comfortable with saying that I've gotten everything out of myself as a rugby league player that I possibly could. I've said it a number of times. I'm not the most naturally gifted guy. I was never the fastest kid in the team or the most skillful, but I've pushed myself to the level that I needed to sort of be proud of my footy career.
Sugar, I'll tell you a quick story and then I'll throw to you. I caught up with Foz while I was playing at the La Catalan Dragons. It was around 2017.
Yep.
And I remember we caught up for a coffee. It was in the off-season, and we were having a chat. And I hope he doesn't mind me. I've told this story before. I've told it with him. He was busted, mate. He's going, Hoz, like, I don't know if my body's going to hold up. That was 2017, mate. That was around 150 games ago.
Wow.
So the determination and the resilience, and it's a great text there from Rob, because that epitomises who he has been as a player. And like he said, he's got every ounce of his footy and his capabilities out over those years, mate.
Hey, Foz, we are chatting with Kieran Foran. I want to ask you this because I think you're going to play a big part in this piece, and it's actually, or a big piece in this part rather. You spoke about that you want to be the very best version of yourself. You also spoke about the passion for mental health. Now, often when I see somebody who has a passion for mental health, they've probably been not their best version at some stage. Has that happened for you? And if it has, I'd love to know when, because so many of our listening audience are never going to be a Kieran Foran. They're not going to play 309 NRL games. They're not going to play 31 tests for New Zealand, a premiership winning halfback, or 5'8". But they may go on this journey. Was there a time where Kieran Foran maybe was not at his absolute best version of himself?
100%, Joel. I reflected on it a bit today, and I can say this to all the listeners and you guys right here. The thing I'm most proud of, if you ask me right now, standing here at nearly 35, what's the thing I'm most proud of? It's overcoming the fact that there was a stage in my life when I lost my way. I wasn't the best human being. I wasn't the best person I could be. I was making poor decisions. Mental health was pulling me down. I was battling addiction issues through that period. And to think that I'm able to stand here now and hold my head up high and be proud of the man that I am, the father I am, the teammate I am, the clubman that I am, that's the thing for me that makes me emotional. That's the thing that I'm so proud of. Yeah, the awards and the accolades and that all along the way, that's great. But I can say to everyone out there, it's becoming the best version of yourself. And for me, it was about finding and overcoming the real difficulties through life. And I was a young guy, and I was making poor decisions, and I was facing challenges that I wasn't quite ready to deal with. And that was okay. But what was important was that I actually came out the other side of it, and that's something I'm so passionate about now. I don't want to see lives lost to those situations. I don't want to see people feel like it's time to give up because they're making poor decisions or they're struggling with life. You can come out the other side and you can actually stand on your own 2 feet and actually feel really proud of overcoming those things.
Foz, it's just so many good messages there. I'm taking
reading them. That's what
I'm thinking about my next question, but I'm also taking that in.
Here's a standing up, Foz.
And I know you well. I know, like, if I asked you to speak about the importance of people that have been in your life during the footy journey, and I asked you to rank them, you wouldn't do that because you wouldn't want to leave anyone out. But geez, mate, Des has got to be right up there. You played under him a number of times for the Manly, and he, all the reports are, and this is the media stuff that he's going through a rough period, and that translates to where the team's at. I'd imagine in these last few games you really want to put your, I guess, really strong performances not only for yourself at the back end of your career, but for Desi as well, mate.
Oh, for sure. And again, I touched on it today. I was asked a question about Des, and I can say this: Des shaped and moulded the footballer that I am. Being a young guy, leaving high school at 18 and going into that first grade arena, and Des being the head coach, having just won a premiership and being an elite coach, I hung off every word he said, and I still do to this day. And I said today, it's hard to not want to play for a guy that loves to win as much as Des, and he just wants success. So, he's been instrumental throughout my career. he's probably been the one guy I would say that's believed in me more than any other coach or any other person. And as you said, I don't like ranking or sort of leaving anyone out. But there were periods, as you guys would know, throughout my career where I was completely written off. And I can tell you there weren't too many people that were believing that I still had, petrol left in the tank. And Desi, he has undoubtedly been that guy. He's just always believed when I've said to him, Des, there's more in me. I've got more footy in me. I'm telling you, I just need my body to give me a break. I can play good footy. I know it. He has backed me. Yep. And I think that's what is part of Des's legacy. I think that's part of why players have loved playing for him over the years, is he backs his players right to the hill.
100%, mate. And the players have the opportunity for that this weekend, mate. You've got a huge game against the Broncos. I know you probably start looking at the calendar for the back end of these games, but you can't look ahead of the Broncos on Sunday, mate. And by the way, I just want to echo what Sugar's saying here. The text line is absolutely blowing up with people that are loving this chat too, Foz. But what about the Broncos on the weekend, mate? They're playing some really good footy, and like we've mentioned a couple of times there, you just need to get that. With a number of other teams, you just need to get that first win, and then you can turn it into two. And if you can get that second, then it just relieves a whole heap of pressure, doesn't it?
Mate, they're in really good form at the moment, and as you touched on, they're sort of one of the sides to beat at the moment. That for us, I think we need to find a way to get that first win, and I just want to see us perform well this Sunday. Like, obviously, Desi's under a little bit of pressure, and there's a lot of scrutiny around the club at the moment, but we're the only ones that can control that with 9 weeks to go. And I spoke to the boys today about, us just getting back to enjoying our footy and actually being proud of the club that we play for. And there's a footy side there, and I've said that for a couple of years now. If we can put it all together, who knows? So, yeah, I'd love to see us go out there and get the win at home. Our fans deserve it. They turn up every week, rain, hail and shine, and support us. And it would be great to get the victory on Sunday.
Foz, we'll let you go, mate, because I'm sure everyone's pulling at your shirt at the moment. But I will say, I'll give you some good news and bad news before you go. The good news is that pretty much every player that comes on the program here on the Run Home with Joel and Fletch, most score on the weekend. The bad news, Foz, is it's July. You better have something up your sleeve, mate. Have you got something up your sleeve when you cross on your 35th birthday?
I'd love to get one this weekend, Jolie. I've been hitting my 9-year-old son up to give me something. I said, mate, can you just give me. Hozzy will tell you this. I'm not one for celebrations.
What's Geordie got for you, Foz? Like, what's he got for you?
I mean, he's been tossing up Fortnite dances. He's been tossing up, all these gaming dances. I said, Geordie, come on, I can't be doing that. So I said, you got to come up with something else. But look, hopefully I'll get something sorted. Hopefully I'll get over for my first meat pie for the year. That would be nice.
Mate, you will.
And raise some money for charity.
Well, I'll go back to 2011, and we haven't got enough time to go into that. We haven't got enough time to go into DC or Des properly, but it's your time. And to think that the Manly side of 2011 would start their season with a young kid who's played about 30 first-grade games with a debutant halfback, and the audacity that you guys would finish the year as premiers and both starring in the grand final, mate. We've got to let you go for your reason and for ours, but we'll just get through a few texts. We can't go through all these, otherwise Foz would take us through the whole show. Thanks, Foz. You're all-time Kiwi great. One of the hardest men to ever wear the Kiwi jersey, Tipper Tim writes. Other fellas, love Foz. Anybody who makes it a point to help other people in any way is a winner. Hopefully he's a regular on SEN. By the way, he looks snappy in Fox in a suit as well, Andy D says from Brisbane. Kieran Foran, this is about you rather. I'm a lifelong dog supporter. This guy played for us when he suffered and carried a lot of injuries. The club made a late run the year he was fit. The difference he made to that side was inspirational. I live in the mental health space as well. this guy's an inspiration, and that's saying something. True definition of a champion bloke. Look, there is so many here. There's too many to
50
name.
plus.
Oh, hang on.
There's
They want us to
50
read
plus.
out. The Hodgenator. One of Manly's biggest mistakes ever was losing Foz. If we had have kept Foz and DC together back then, I think Manly could have taken another 2 or 3 premierships. Love you, Foz. Wow, what a great interview, boys. Foz, congratulations on everything you've achieved on and off the field. Always a bulldog. Ari, you're welcome back to our club anytime. Hi, guys. I got to meet Foz after a game in the Sheds. The Bulldogs played Parramatta. The Bulldogs last Foz came out to meet me and my daughters, and even though his wrist was really sore, he still shook my hand and he made our day. Tell him thanks for everything he's done. What a great guy. Cheers. Unleash. As a lifelong Manly fan, Foz is in my top 10 Seagulls of all time. Come and coach us, please, mate. Get involved with the staff, says Andrew. Boys, Foz, what a bloody legend, says Joel. Keeper, love the honesty, good man, says Dunny. Look, they keep coming in, Foz. We can't keep patting you on the back, but I've got a job for you, Foz. I've got a job for you.
What do you got?
It's a hard transition. It's a hard transition from player to retirement. And it's hard. This is a win-win. This is for you and another champion Kiwi. I've been talking to you, and at times I'm waiting for you to mention Winks or Very Elegant. I thought I was interviewing Chris Waller. Chris Waller gets smashed with interviews at the Spring Carnival, Foz. I reckon we do a deal where you pretend to be Chris Waller and take all of his interviews and let him focus on the horses.
Sounds like Chris Waller.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, he's got a...
What do you reckon?
Give that a crack. We could give that a go.
Yeah, give it a crack, mate. Foz, like Chris Waller, very humble. You're a humble champion, and we are very blessed to have you on the run home with Joel and Fletch, and we cannot wait to see that try celebration when you score that try in the local derby on your 35th birthday. What a career, Foz, and thanks for joining us on the run home with Joel and Fletch.
Guys, thanks so much for having me. Always a pleasure.
Oh, what a man. Mate, what a man. It's not just about rugby league. You can get your tickets for Titans versus the Broncos this Sunday. If you're anywhere near the Gold Coast, get there and see the great man score a meat pie on his 35th birthday, game 310. Head to Ticketmaster to get your tickets now